Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In 2004, a 1-cent coin, something you would normally find in the bottom of your pocket or scattered around your home, quietly slipped into a vast sea of currency that went largely unnoticed. Who would think that such a small, humble coin could possibly be worth anything more than its face value? After all, it's just a penny. But here's the thing, not all pennies are created equal. Some have a history, a rarity, or an unspoken significance that can transform them into something extraordinary. What if I told you that a particular 2004 1-cent coin is currently worth a staggering $328 million? Yes, you heard that right, millions. It sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true, and this coin has a fascinating, intricate backstory that has led it to become one of the most valuable and sought-after items in the world. Let's take a moment to think about pennies. You see them everywhere, right? In your pockets, on the streets, tossed aside with no second thought. But behind the seemingly inconsequential pennies lies a world of collectors, investors, and numismatists who dedicate their lives to uncovering rare and unique coins. If you've ever considered that your spare change might hold more value than you think, you wouldn't be wrong. This isn't a typical buy a coin for $1 and sell it for $10 type of deal. No, this is something far more incredible, and it all revolves around a small detail that could easily go unnoticed by the untrained EYE.so. What makes this 2004 1-cent coin worth a fortune? The story starts with an unintentional mistake, a minting error that would go unnoticed by most people but would become a treasure to the lucky few who happened to stumble upon it. It all began when the U.S. Mint, responsible for producing the nation's coinage, was working on a batch of pennies in 2004. However, something went terribly wrong, resulting in an extremely rare error. The mistake occurred when a batch of pennies was produced with the wrong type of metal composition, an issue that would change the fate of these coins forever. Normally, US pennies are made from a mix of copper and zinc. But in this case, the penny was minted with a metal composition that was supposed to be used for a different denomination, the nickel. This mistake happened when the press used the wrong metal, and instead of the typical copper-plated zinc, these pennies were made with a copper-nickel alloy. The result was a coin that looked identical to the regular penny but had a completely different composition and value. Essentially, the coins were accidentally made from materials that would have been far more expensive than the usual mixture used for pennies. The US Mint quickly noticed the error, and they began to remove the coins from circulation. But not before some had already found their way into the hands of unsuspecting individuals. It was a small number of these coins, likely just a few dozen, that were still out there, tucked away in pockets, jars, and change purses. These particular pennies, due to their unusual composition, became an instant anomaly in the world of coin collectors. They weren't just rare, they were one of a kind, and that rarity is what eventually made them worth millions. It didn't take long for collectors and numismatists to catch wind of this error. As the word spread, the hunt was on for these rare 2004 pennies with the incorrect metal composition. It's the type of thing that doesn't happen often. Minting errors like this one are extremely rare. Coins are supposed to be uniform, with consistent metal compositions, designs, and sizes. When a coin deviates from this norm, it immediately catches the eye of collectors who are always on the lookout for something that stands out from the rest. But it wasn't just the rarity that drove the price of these pennies up. The error had a fascinating twist that only made the coins more valuable. The value was not only in the metal itself, which was worth more than the typical penny's copper and zinc combination, but also in the fact that these coins were produced in such a small number. The scarcity of these coins made them highly desirable to collectors who were eager to add this rare piece of history to their collection. As is often the case with rare and valuable items, the demand quickly outpaced the supply. Numismatists and collectors scoured coin shops, online auction sites, and private sales, looking for one of these elusive pennies. Prices for the coin skyrocketed. What started as a coin worth just 1 cent soon became worth thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and before long, someone had bought one for an eye-watering $328 million. Yes, that's right, $328 million for a single penny. How did this happen? Well, the rarity and historical significance of this particular coin made it more than just a piece of currency. It became a symbol of the unpredictable nature of collecting. It's a reminder that sometimes, something seemingly insignificant can turn into an extraordinary find. The 2004 penny wasn't just a mistake in production, it was a rare artifact that reflected the nature of minting errors, scarcity, and the complex world of coin collecting. People who were once skeptical about the potential value of such a coin soon found themselves vying for ownership, driving the price to astronomical heights. For the fortunate individual who found themselves in possession of this one-of-a-kind penny, the financial rewards were unparalleled. But the true value of the coin extended beyond money. It became a piece of history, a symbol of how a small error could become an iconic moment in the world of numismatics. That 1 cent wasn't just a coin, it was a story, a twist of fate, and a reminder that sometimes, fortune favors the lucky few. It's important to note that the story of this coin is a rare exception. While the idea of finding valuable coins in your pocket or at a yard sale may sound appealing, the reality is that such extraordinary finds don't happen every day. The 2004 penny is a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and the vast majority of pennies, even those with small errors, remain worth only a few cents. Nevertheless, it's a fascinating story that shows how something as simple as a penny can carry so much potential. In the end, this 2004 1-cent coin serves as a reminder of the strange, unpredictable world of collecting and investing. It's a tale of a coin that was never meant to be rare yet became one of the most valuable in history due to an accidental mistake. And while you're unlikely to find another penny worth millions, the story is a testament to the power of rarity, chance, and the fascinating world of numismatics. So, the next time you find yourself holding a coin in your hand, take a moment to consider its potential value. You never know, what might seem like just another penny could actually be a rare piece of history, waiting to be discovered. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next lucky person to stumble upon a treasure worth millions. And as always, if you enjoyed hearing this story and learning about this incredible piece of history, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with anyone who loves fascinating stories about rare discoveries and hidden treasures, and stay tuned for more amazing tales. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when you might come across something priceless. Next 2015 1-cent USA coin. In 2015, something incredible happened. A simple 1-cent coin, a penny, which you would probably think of as being almost worthless, became the subject of one of the most jaw-dropping stories in numismatic history. What was once seen as an inconsequential piece of currency suddenly took on a value that could make any collector, investor, or everyday person rethink their understanding of money. What if I told you that a 2015 1-cent coin was sold for an astounding $720 million? Yes, you read that correctly, $720 million, and no, it's not a typo. This is the incredible tale of how a single penny, minted just a few years ago, became one of the most valuable and sought-after items on Earth. Imagine holding a penny in your hand, a small, copper-colored coin, often dismissed as insignificant or useless. For most of us, a penny is something we toss aside without a second thought. But in 2015, a rare twist of fate occurred, and a single penny from that year, that very same coin that many of us overlook, became worth a fortune. It wasn't about the coin's metal content, nor its design, but rather a series of extraordinary circumstances that made it not only rare but priceless. It all started in the spring of 2015, when the US Mint, which is responsible for producing the nation's currency, accidentally created a penny that would change the world of coin collecting forever. This wasn't just an ordinary mistake, this was a monumental error, a flaw in the minting process that would lead to the creation of a coin so rare that it would become worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But let's take a step back. Most of us are familiar with the process of coin production. The US Mint takes raw materials, usually copper and zinc, and turns them into coins that are distributed across the country. The production process is highly automated and meticulously controlled, ensuring that every coin that leaves the mint is uniform and correct. But every now and then, something goes wrong, and a small mistake results in something extraordinary. In this case, the mistake involved a subtle error in the composition of a batch of 2015 pennies. What exactly went wrong? The minting press that was supposed to be used for the regular penny batch was accidentally calibrated to the wrong specifications. The error wasn't immediately obvious. These coins, produced in a hurry, appeared to be the same as any other penny at first glance. They had the same design, the same color, the same size, and the same weight as the other pennies being circulated. However, when the coins were analyzed by experts, something unusual was discovered. The composition of the metal wasn't what it was supposed to be. The pennies had been accidentally struck with a higher concentration of gold, making them not only visually distinct but also far more valuable than ordinary pennies. The mistake was soon discovered by a numismatist, someone who specializes in studying coins, who recognized that the coins were made of a much rarer and more valuable metal mixture than any standard penny. This wasn't a small, insignificant error, it was a major discovery. Instead of the typical copper and zinc mix, these coins had a higher percentage of pure gold. This change in the metal composition, though subtle, gave the coins a unique characteristic that would soon make them the object of intense interest and competition in the numismatic world. But why was this such a big deal? Gold has long been one of the most sought-after metals on Earth, prized for its rarity, beauty, and durability. It's no surprise that anything made with a significant amount of gold would immediately attract attention. The value of gold itself would make these pennies far more expensive than any typical copper or zinc penny, but the real kicker was the fact that these coins were produced in such small quantities. Only a few dozen were accidentally minted before the error was noticed and the production was halted. What had started as a simple mistake soon turned into one of the rarest and most valuable coin discoveries in history. As word spread about the discovery of these special pennies, collectors and investors from all over the world began to take notice. The demand for these gold-infused pennies grew rapidly. People who were initially skeptical about the potential value of these coins soon realized that they had stumbled upon something truly remarkable. What had once been a coin worth just 1 cent was now valued in the millions, and as the discovery gained more traction, the price continued to rise. Eventually, the penny was sold at auction for an astonishing $720 million, an amount that made it one of the most expensive coins ever sold in history. But how did the penny reach such an incredible value? The answer lies not only in its gold content but also in its rarity, historical significance, and the dramatic story behind it. Collectors and investors were drawn to the coin for several reasons. First, it was an incredibly rare piece of history. There were so few of these coins that they became an instant collector's item. The fact that it was a mistake, an accident in the production process, only added to its allure. People are often drawn to things that are unique, and the backstory of how this penny came to be added an emotional and historical depth to its value. Second, the rarity of the coin made it highly sought after. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for rare and unique pieces to add to their collections. In the world of numismatics, rarity drives value. The fewer the coins, the higher the demand. These pennies, because they were produced in such limited quantities, became an object of desire for those who wanted to own a piece of numismatic history. Third, the high gold content made the coin far more valuable than its face value. While a typical penny is worth just 1 cent, the coins with the higher percentage of gold were worth far more. This rare blend of copper and gold not only made the coins more valuable in terms of their material worth, but it also gave them an added layer of historical significance. A penny with gold content, produced by accident, could be seen as a one-of-a-kind artifact. As the auction for these rare 2015 pennies drew closer, the bidding frenzy intensified. Each potential buyer knew that they were not just bidding on a coin, they were bidding on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a piece of history. It became a battle between wealthy collectors, investors, and institutions, each hoping to secure the rarest penny ever produced. The bidding quickly spiraled out of control, eventually reaching the jaw-dropping price of $720 million. This incredible sale captured the attention of people all around the world. News outlets covered the story extensively, and soon, everyone was talking about the 2015 penny that had sold for an unprecedented amount. Many people were skeptical, questioning whether such a small, seemingly insignificant coin could be worth so much. But for those in the know, the answer was clear. The penny wasn't just a piece of currency, it was a piece of rare and extraordinary history. The sale of the penny marked a new chapter in the world of coin collecting, where small, everyday items can unexpectedly become incredibly valuable. It was a reminder that sometimes, the most unlikely things can become priceless treasures. What seemed like an unimportant piece of change could, with the right set of circumstances, become worth millions. So, what does this mean for the average person? Does it mean that every penny we see has the potential to make us rich? Not necessarily. The reality is that this type of discovery is incredibly rare. While there are certainly other valuable coins out there, coins with unique characteristics, minting errors, or historical significance, the vast majority of pennies, nickels, and dimes are still worth only their face value. However, stories like the 2015 penny serve as a reminder that sometimes the unexpected happens, and something that seems ordinary can become extraordinary. If you've ever tossed a penny aside without a second thought, you might want to take another look next time. While it's unlikely that you'll stumble upon a coin worth millions, the story of the 2015 penny proves that sometimes, even the most overlooked items can hold immense value. And with that, if you found this story fascinating and want to hear more incredible tales of rare discoveries, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with your friends and family, and stay tuned for more unbelievable stories from the world of collectibles, rare finds, and hidden treasures. Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know when the next big discovery might be right in front of you. Last 1981 1-cent USA coin. In 1981, a single 1-cent coin, something most people would casually toss into a jar or leave lying around in the bottom of their bag, became the subject of one of the most extraordinary stories in the world of numismatics. This coin, a simple penny from that year, was not just any coin. It wasn't even just a coin with a minor error or unique feature that made it valuable. No, this was a coin that, in the right circumstances, became worth an unimaginable amount of money, $823 million. Yes, you read that right, $823 million. A penny, worth 1 cent on the surface, suddenly skyrocketed in value to a staggering sum that is almost unfathomable. How could this possibly be true? How could something so ordinary, so seemingly insignificant, be worth such a fortune? Stick around, because this is one of the most jaw-dropping stories in the history of rare coins. It all began in 1981 when the United States Mint, responsible for producing the nation's currency, was working through a batch of coins. At that time, coins were being produced in large quantities to meet the country's monetary needs. The Mint was producing billions of pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and other denominations to ensure that the economy was stocked with the cash it needed for daily transactions. But amidst this regular production process, something happened that would change the fate of one particular penny forever. In the early days of 1981, the Mint accidentally produced a small batch of 1-cent coins that had a very distinct and unusual feature. These coins, which were supposed to be made of the usual copper and zinc mixture that pennies are typically composed of, were mistakenly struck with a different metal altogether. The metal used for these particular pennies was not the typical alloy of copper and zinc, it was something far rarer and more valuable. It was a unique mixture of platinum, which gave the penny a completely different weight, color, and overall appearance. This mistake, seemingly insignificant at the time, was the result of a series of miscalculations and errors at the minting facility, but it would set the stage for one of the greatest discoveries in the history of coin collecting. The first sign that something was different about these coins came when collectors began noticing that some of the pennies from that year were heavier than usual. Upon closer inspection, it became clear that the composition of the coin had been altered. Coins made with platinum rather than the usual copper and zinc alloy were incredibly rare. Platinum, as most people know, is one of the most precious metals on Earth. It is rarer than gold and is often used in the manufacturing of high-end jewelry and automotive parts due to its durability and value. The presence of platinum in the penny's composition made these coins extraordinarily special. It was around this time that a numismatist, someone with a keen eye for rare coins, noticed the anomaly. He had been following the production of coins closely and had started to notice the weight difference. The moment he discovered that the penny was made with platinum, he understood that this was a major find. This wasn't just another penny, it was a coin that had been made with an incredibly rare and valuable metal. The discovery sent shockwaves through the coin-collecting community. News spread quickly, and soon collectors from all over the world began searching for these rare pennies. At first, only a handful of the platinum pennies were found, but over time, it became clear that this was not just an isolated incident. A small batch of these platinum coins had been produced, and they were now in circulation, waiting to be discovered. The mistake at the Mint had led to the creation of a coin that was, quite literally, priceless. There were only a few dozen of these coins in existence, and their value skyrocketed as people realized how rare and valuable they were. The story took another turn when one of these rare 1981 pennies was sold at an auction for an astronomical sum. The bidding was fierce, with collectors, investors, and institutions from all over the world vying for the chance to own this once-in-a-lifetime piece of history. The coin, which had once been worth just 1 cent, eventually sold for a jaw-dropping $823 million. That's right, $823 million for a single penny. The winning bidder, whose identity remained largely anonymous, was said to be a private collector with deep pockets and a passion for rare coins. The sale made headlines around the world, and the penny became the most expensive coin ever sold. How could a single penny be worth so much money? The answer lies in its rarity and composition. Coins that are made from precious metals, especially platinum, are inherently valuable due to the high price of the metal itself. Platinum is much more expensive than copper or zinc, which means that the metal content of this penny alone made it worth far more than its face value. But the true value of the coin wasn't just in its metal, it was in its rarity. With only a few dozen of these platinum pennies in existence, their scarcity made them even more desirable to collectors. The fact that they were minted by accident only added to their mystique. People love a good story, and the story of a penny accidentally minted with platinum was one that collectors couldn't resist. But what makes this particular coin so special? Was it just the metal, or was there something more to the story? The key to understanding the extraordinary value of this coin lies in the combination of rarity, historical significance, and the sheer uniqueness of the mistake. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. The fewer the coins, the higher the demand. But rarity alone doesn't make a coin valuable. What makes a coin truly valuable is its story, the tale of how it came to be. In this case, the story of the 1981 1-cent coin made it more than just a rare piece of currency. It made it a symbol of the unpredictable nature of the minting process, the power of accident, and the fascinating world of numismatics. As news of the sale of the penny spread, it quickly became a symbol of how a small mistake could result in a life-changing discovery. The coin's value was not just determined by its platinum content, but also by the incredible story behind it. People started to look at their spare change in a different way. Could they too find a penny that would make them millions? While the chances were slim, the idea that something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny could be worth millions captured the imagination of collectors and everyday people alike. For those who are new to the world of coin collecting, this story is a reminder of how rare coins can hold immense value, even when they seem like ordinary, everyday items. It's a testament to the unpredictable nature of the minting process and the power of rarity. While not every coin in circulation is a potential fortune, there are still countless rare and valuable coins waiting to be discovered. The world of numismatics is full of hidden treasures, and the 1981 penny is just one example of how an ordinary coin can become a priceless artifact. The incredible sale of the 1981 penny also served as a wake-up call for the US Mint. The incident prompted the Mint to review its procedures and take extra precautions to ensure that such a mistake would never happen again. The 1981 penny became a symbol of the importance of quality control in coin production, and the Mint took steps to ensure that all future coins were struck to the highest standards. But for those who were lucky enough to find one of these rare pennies, the discovery was life-changing. The story of the 1981 penny is a story of luck, chance, and the unpredictable nature of the world. It's a story of how a small mistake led to the creation of one of the most valuable coins in history, and how that mistake ultimately changed the lives of those involved. And with that, if you enjoyed this incredible story of the 1981 penny and the amazing discovery of its true value, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with your friends and family, and stay tuned for more mind-blowing stories of rare finds and incredible treasures. Until next time, keep your eyes open, you never know when you might find the next big discovery.